In today's show, the strength to succeed, the man behind the muscle, and memories of an AFL debut. Hi, I'm Mark Bickley and welcome to the Crows Show, brought to you by the new tender, crunchy, juicy Jack's Fried Chicken boneless pieces at Hungry Jack's. But first, the team's growing confidence and momentum this season is reflected in the performance of Mitch Hinge. Now in his third year with the Crows, the versatile left footer appears to have locked down an AFL spot in defence or on the wing.
I guess we found a little bit of form the last couple of weeks, and it's really exciting, I guess. I'm feeling quite confident in my body, which is really good, and it's almost given me an extra lift, extra bit of energy to keep backing myself and try to keep playing the football that I know I can play. I've showed glimpses even this year, but yeah, I mean the future's very exciting. So I spent most of the pre-season on the wing, training through the midfield and the wing, and there's obviously been a little bit of a mixed change since the start of the year, and I found myself across half back, and I'm really enjoying it. I feel like it probably suits me naturally a little bit down there, and yeah, I also feel like I've got a lot to gain. So it's exciting now, and yeah, I'm also excited to see what the future holds.
Doge. Hinge through one and another, and it opens up off half back.
Any Blues supporters down, puts it to the hot spot. Curnow held back, grips front spot. Mackay couldn't get a leap at it. Hinge to Rochelle.
Over the years, I've had a few little niggles and whatnot. So the shoulder's feeling really good now. I've had a good, almost 18 months of good solid rehab and training through that, so that's feeling really good. So I'm really happy with how my body's sitting. I'm 24 now, and I'm feeling quite strong and up to the level, so I think that's what's helping me build my confidence and keep kind of pursuing what I want to achieve.
Four thoughts back there, Hinge and then Smith.
Laid, Hinge, thumping kick towards full forward. Walker's got the sit over the back. He's got more than that.
Very excited for what the boys have been able to produce. Is really exciting, and not only the older boys keep stepping up, but kind of the youth coming through, the emerging kind of group. The talent's been unbelievable, and good people and great kids. So it's really nice to be a part of that.
As they say in racing parlance, Hinge did well, went low.
Mitch has grabbed his second chance at AFL football with both hands. Now, over the past few years, the Toyota Good for Footy raffle has raised more than $9 million for grassroots clubs across Australia. Clubs like the Henley Sharks, where Brodie Smith learned to play. Well, Smithers has gone back to his old club together with his great mate Rory Laid to help kickstart this year's raffle.
Grassroots footy clubs are super important to the local communities. I remember reflecting on myself as a kid. I was fortunate enough to be in a club down south, and it gives you a sense of belonging.
Huge sense of community playing here and going to school down the road as well. So still got a lot of mates from both here and then school in Henley, and spent a lot of time around the footy club. Friends and family really get around each other here, and still got contact with my junior coach from back in the day. So it's yeah, a real sense of community and pride in the footy club, and as I said, it's a connection that I've carried throughout my journey at the Crows. Henley's an area that I love, and as I said, went to school here as well, so just feel really connected to the Henley area, and still got some mates that play senior football here, so I keep an eye on them, and just a club that really, I guess, catapulted me into the Eagles and then to the AFL system, so got a lot to thank for Henley.
Sponsors like Toyota are so important to these local clubs because it allows the kids to keep playing, it helps them get equipment, it allows them to enjoy their time here and have a sense of belonging.
The Toyota Good for Footy raffle has been an outstanding way for our club to raise much needed funds for projects. Raising money in clubs is incredibly hard. We look for community support, but what Toyota's been able to give us is the opportunity to raise sizable amounts of money for future projects. This year, in the Toyota Good for Footy raffle, we'll be raising money for an electronic scoreboard. That and obviously a lot of other projects we'd like around the club, but that's critical for us to really sort of reward the kids and everyone who play at our club.
The Toyota Good for Footy raffle is a free and easy way to fundraise for your local club. Simply register online. Stay with us after the break, why Harry won't forget his first game. Welcome back. Losing a grand final by a solitary point is arguably the cruelest experience in football. It was North Adelaide's fate in last year's Sandford Premiership decider against Norwood. So, how has that disappointment motivated the Roosters to achieve the ultimate prize in 2023? As they prepare to tackle the Eagles, let's examine their progress so far, all thanks to Bendigo Bank.
That one down. Ramsey with a snap. Gee, that's good. It's another one for North Adelaide and another one for Keenan Ramsey. It's his second.
It's been an interesting start. Our first two games, whilst we won one of them, we were beaten pretty well by Centrals out at Elizabeth, but the recent game against Norwood was a really good return to form, so I'm pretty comfortable where we're at the moment. The tradition of playing on Anzac Day you have to earn, and we earned that last year whilst we weren't successful in the grand final. Look, I don't think there was added motivation. I think players, no matter what level, are motivated to play whoever they play and wherever they play. But it was more the occasion on Anzac Day, I think, that brings players up to another level.
Zekali, he's up in towards the Ramsey direction. He's just going to come straight back out there through Sanders, but I'm going to go back to Zekali, so rinse, repeat. Zekali dances his way through traffic from 40 metres out and punishes the Redlegs on the overlap.
The club's travelling really well. We've got a great bunch of sponsors, led by our major sponsor, Copy World. New sponsor this year, Beyond Bank's come on board, which is great. We've got a really good board working well with the admin team. So at the moment, across all our programs, our women's program, our juniors and our men's program, we're in a good position. The Eagles have probably had a rough start to the year. They're a good side. So we'd expect a real challenge this week.
How do you like that? Some very nice icing on a cake that has been built with great endeavour here by the Eagles.
Now, every fan has their favourite Crows memory, and of course, so do the players. Today, it's the turn of Harry Schoenberg to have a coffee catch-up with Ben Keys and recall his career highlight, all thanks to Jack's Cafe at Hungry Jack's.
Massive thanks, Hungry Jacks, for all your support and for your support behind this show. Very excited today. I got one of my favourite teammates, the man with the most nicknames at the club, my former housemate, Harry Schoenberg. How are you, Harry?
Yeah, going good, mate. Thanks for having me on your show.
Harry, you're a bit of a favourite around the Crows locker room, but there's a few players that get on your nerves. Can you tell us about the most annoying teammate at the club? Because there's plenty of options.
Yeah, there is a few options, but one definitely stands out. It's Rory Laid. He's a crazy guy. He's probably the one who comes up with all my nicknames, so definitely Rory Laid.
What's your least favourite nickname that Riley's come up with?
Harry the Horse. He just says that on repeat. We're in the gym, he says it about 100 times, just yells it out. So that's probably the number one.
Harry, you were a local SA boy growing up. Can you tell us a bit about your background? Where'd you come from? Where were you drafted out of?
Yeah, so grew up on a farm, which is sort of in between the Clare Valley and Brossard Valley in Marrable. Eventually come down to school at PAC as a boarder for 2 years. Played a bit of footy at Woodville West Torrens. Was then lucky enough to get drafted by the Crows and stay in my home state, which was good for me able to sort of connect to my family and friends still.
Mate, you really hit the ground running early in your career. You've played plenty of footy already, which is a credit to you. Tell us, what's been your favourite Crows moment so far in your young career?
Yeah, there's definitely a few. Probably my debut game would be up there. Bit unusual, played on a Wednesday. That was during the COVID year, so it was a Wednesday night debut game.
Here he is, Schoenberg, Harry Schoenberg in Mark Bickley's old 26.
But I reckon the first showdown win that I had, obviously last year with Dawes kicking that goal, that was pretty special. So
It's coming back and got there. The scenes at the Adelaide Oval.
Some great moments, mate, and plenty more to come. Thanks for coming on, Harry.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Well, Harry and his teammates generally have one day off a week. So what do they get up to away from football? We'll find out from one of them shortly. Each week on The Crows Show, Flight Centre flies us around the country to check out our next opponent. This afternoon, of course, it's Collingwood, and one of their players is former West Adelaide lad John Noble, who's worn the Magpies Guernsey in more than 70 games.
He's played a really nice game of footy so far. Centre field. It was bashed out of his hands. Noble gets it back. Davey pursuing.
Almost left to find another day. Although Noble's going to get on the end of this. 52 metres out is Noble.
You know, I have a soft spot for Adelaide in that sense. Like I said, I got to see all the ins and outs. Moved there when I was about 5 years old. Dad, through his footy career in coaching and admin, was working there for a fair while, 12, 13 or even 15 years maybe. Got to see the inside of the club, see what an AFL team looks like, how it operates.
Drops it though. Fantasia. Noble wraps him up. Splendid tackle. Almost ball.
His handball's intercepted by McCreary. Now Maynard's got it all to do. Goulden, Hickey, Clark, Rowbottom through the middle. Noble got him in the tackle.
Still very close with a few people that have been a part of that club and their journey. And yeah, I always love going back there.
Now Crispin's got nowhere to go. Got to flick it back. Davey confronting Johnny Noble.
John's father, David, had a long history with the Crows as an assistant coach and head of football. Now, the best way to see the footy is obviously at the ground, so make sure you have your seats for all the action this year with an Adelaide Crows membership. Flexible and affordable memberships start from just $35 a game. Join the Crows family today at crowsmembership.com.au. We all know the Crows have the AFL's second youngest playing list, so fans have a lot to learn about some of them. And this season, Jones Radiology is helping us get a clearer picture of what they do to relax and, for a while at least, forget about footy. Today, we're catching up with Ned McHenry, and I have a fair idea of what he does in his spare time.
Time on the ground fleeting, but his impact's there for all to see. The Crows are home.
Hi, I'm Ned, and these are the things that I love doing outside of footy. I have a lot of hobbies and a lot of passions, so it's hard to narrow it down to three, but these are the three #1 things I love to do. The first thing I love to do on my first photo is this, myself with a massive southern bluefin tuna. It was about 76 kilos down in Port Macdonald. One of my biggest passions is fishing, so I love getting out in my boat in my North Bank, which are built in South Australia. I take that out all the time, and I love to go fishing everywhere around the state. So this is my second photo. This is my dog Shark. Nick Murray and I, we run some sheep out of the property, and I love getting out to the farm. So doing some sheep work or just getting out of the city is the second thing that I love to do outside of footy. This is my third photo. This is a photo of Nathan Van Berlo. He's actually a midfield coach. I don't play in the midfield, but he's a bit of a guru with certain things with work outside of footy, not just coaching. And my third favourite thing I love to do is to wander into his office and talk about property and all the exciting things he's doing outside of footy. So it was hard to narrow down into three things, but those were my three favourite things outside of footy that I love to do.
Ned is among those who have benefited from an intense strength and conditioning program. Shortly, we'll see who's moving the muscles. Over summer, there was a focus on building the players' strength, and the result is certainly paying dividends. Sam Doge is the club's head of strength and power, and he has a wealth of experience with international and professional athletes, including Welsh Rugby Union and Judo associations. His home is the gym.
my main sort of focus is what we do in the gym and then on the field in terms of our speed, our footwork and our agility as well. Obviously it's not just me solo, so like I'll be setting the general parameters of what we're trying to do as a group. You know, I've got Josh Emmanuel with me as well, who's been doing a brilliant job. He leads up our rehab program and our injury prevention side of things. We get help from the medics, from the sports scientists along the ways with that as well. In the first season we kind of got our training process established, so what days we trained, what content we did, exercise selection, things like that. The off season was really an opportunity to double down on the physical development we had in that first year. So it was a great opportunity without games and with a lesser running volume to really try and chase that physical development. You know, we're relatively young list, so big emphasis on improving their strength, their lean mass, really low hanging fruit, but just taking advantage of that time frame over the off season. It's been completely like a new challenge. It's not a sport I knew loads about before I came. My journey beforehand, so I've worked in rugby union for a long while, so worked predominantly with Welsh Rugby and Bristol Bears, so international and club rugby age grade programs and a fair few different roles within rugby alongside that. Was the head S&C at Welsh Judo, strength and conditioning coach in the Tennis Wales performance pathway. I work with a load of grapplers, jiu-jitsu players, wrestlers, MMA fighters as well, so I've worked in quite a broad range of sports. From a physical point of view, the fellas running outputs in this are like probably nothing I've ever seen before from a team sport environment, and their skill level is phenomenal. You know, how well they kick a ball, and their ability to back up that work is massive. Some of the things are very similar. In terms of personalities, it's literally the same everywhere. You know, you get 45 blokes in a room and you've got 45 different characters. You know, I say the group feels so similar to a rugby group, to a team sport group that I've worked with, whether it's guys, girls, rugby, you know, other sports you've had a look at. I think that's a great thing about it, isn't it? Is actually you're in a sport, I'm in a completely different sport, completely different country, but there's so many similarities to what athletes are like in a team environment, and that's been helpful really, having that background in a team environment helps you survive it here, because it can be crazy at times, you know, it can be pretty wild.
Sam, along with Darren Burgess, form a formidable high-performance team. Now it's time to find our crow in the crowd. Whenever you take a photo of yourself or a friend at one of our games and post it to social media, make sure you use the hashtag WeFlyAsOne. Plenty of happy faces to choose from. Let's settle on you. Please email faceinthecrowd@afc.com.au with photo ID to claim your prize of 2 tickets to Toyota's exclusive Hilux Hill at Adelaide Oval. And with Toyota's help, we're also asking you to provide a highlight from your local match. Let's take a look at this week's winner. Remember, if you record a special moment from your local competition, simply email your entry to crowshow@afc.com.au to be in the running to win a Crows merchandise pack. That's about all we have time for on the show. Before we go, a reminder to check out the club's History Locker. It's an online museum where you can explore the Crows' past and access all the stats about former players and their achievements. Go to crowshistory.afc.com.au. Thanks for your company today. I look forward to joining you again next Saturday at 1 o'clock on 7. Bye for now. This show has been brought to you by the new tender, crunchy, juicy Jack's fried chicken boneless pieces at Hungry Jack's.